Who is the best Batman? Well, that's what I'm here to talk about. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I'm sure a ton of people will disagree with me or have their own thoughts and opinions, and that's fine. But just to let you know, this is my opinion. The worst Batman of all time. Probably not too much of a surprise. George Clooney. I'm sorry. I love George Clooney. I do. I love him as an actor. He's a great actor. I've seen some great films with him. But when I watch Batman and Robin, let's take everything else out. The goofiness, the silliness, the nipples, the ice puns. Let's take all of that out and just look at him as a Batman. He fucking sucks. And there's a few reasons why. When I was watching the behind the scenes, making of for Batman and Robin, because sometimes you want to know what was going into these people's heads while they were making something. And George Clooney said that he's playing Batman at an older age. So he feels Batman should be at a point in his life where he's over his parents' death. Because Clooney said, hey, he's had so many movies to think about this, to be upset by it, and be sad over it, that by now, he should be past it. And he shouldn't be upset by his parents' death. And I sat there listening, saying, what the fuck? Dude, do you know anything about this character? That's the reason why he's Batman. If he ever came to a point, if Batman ever came to a point where he wasn't upset by his parents' death, then he would stop being Batman. Then there would be no reason to be Batman anymore. It's just, I can't even picture why Bruce Wayne would go out and be Batman if he's okay, if he's settled, if he's just dealt with his parents' murder. It blew my mind to hear him say that. But even that aside, because that's his opinion, the way he plays the character, how he doesn't even try to change his voice when he's in costume. So that scene when he first shows up and says, "Hi, Freeze, I'm Batman." And you're like, dude, what's to stop anybody from hearing you and saying, no, dude, you're fucking Bruce Wayne. No, in fact, you're George Clooney in a Batman costume. It blows my mind to see his performance and just how much he didn't give a shit. You're being paid so much fucking money to do this, you'd think you'd put some more effort in. Alright, next up, my second worst Batman, and I know this is going to piss some people off, Adam West. I'm sorry. I respect Adam West for being the first ever live-action Batman, but I can't get into that show or the movie. I try to watch it. I've tried, and I can't get into it. And I'm not just talking about the silliness, the goofiness, the pings and the pows and the puns, and I get it. Some people like that. Some people grew up on that. Some people, it was the first thing that they saw. And it's not even that Batman has to be dark. That's my favorite Batman, but he doesn't have to be dark. It's just, I always looked at that 60s show and thought to myself, it seems like they're making fun of Batman. It seems like they're treating comic books like a joke. And they're basically saying, this is what we think of comic books. I could be wrong, but I always got that vibe of them thinking that, you know what, this is silly, this is dumb, we're not going to take this seriously. This is where I start to get to my actual top 4, my favorite Batmen. Val Kilmer. I've seen people shit on him as Batman. I've seen some people say they don't like him, or maybe it's just Batman Forever they don't like. They consider it the beginning before Batman and Robin. But I always thought Val Kilmer was underrated. I always thought he had a good look for Bruce Wayne, the playboy, bachelor look. When he's Batman, he has a presence. He was in good shape. He looked the part. He did have that sort of tough, deep voice. I think was good enough for the character. My only complaint about him, really, is the one scene where Nicole Kidman, Dr. Chase Meridian, when she's so back and forth on who she wants to be with, Batman and Bruce Wayne, not realizing they're the same people. Batman comes to her to her bedroom. I guess he's gonna fuck her in costume. I guess. I mean, like, what else is gonna happen? She tells him, look, I can't do this. I've met someone else. Batman, knowing that she's talking about him, turns around, pretty much looks at the camera and smiles. And I thought to myself, okay, clearly that's a Joel Schumacher thing, and he's more to blame for it, but I can't help but also blame Kilmer because he did it. Number 3, Michael Keaton. To some people, Keaton is their favorite Batman of all time, and I do not blame them. Keaton is a great Batman. I've grown up on Michael Keaton as Batman, and there's a lot of things I like about him, especially when you take into consideration that he was chastised. He was almost treated like the village freak when he was first cast because he was a comedian known for comedies and just not taken seriously. So when he got cast, people were like, really? Which is funny that so many years later, with Ben Affleck, we haven't learned anything. Because boy, were those people wrong. When Batman 89 came out and you saw just how serious Keaton took it and how dark he played the character, how tortured of a Bruce Wayne he played, it was great. And then even him as Batman, sure, he's not the biggest guy or like the most muscled guy, but in that costume, he's menacing, he's threatening, he's intimidating. Even the classic moment in 89 where he says to the guy, I'm Batman. He's the first one who did it, and that's the benchmark for what Batman has to be. The only complaint, I guess, the only reason why he is only number 3 on the list is that I never thought Keaton played Bruce Wayne any differently than Batman. I do feel like he played the two almost the same exact way. If he had more of a different range for his Bruce Wayne, if he had done something to make it seem like it's obvious he's not Batman, because like in the 89 party scene at the beginning, if I'm Gordon, or hell, if I'm anybody there and I see sort of Bruce Wayne in the corner, a loner to himself, looking sort of sad and depressed, and I think, well, I'm trying to figure out who could be Batman, who has the money, the resources, and who has the motive, and who just seems sort of crazy enough to do it, that's Keaton. Alright, number 2 is a little departure from the live-action Batman, because Kevin Conroy is my number 2 favorite Batman. He's only voiced Batman in animated stuff, like the animated series, or several video games, like the Arkham series. And even some of the DC animated films. But Kevin Conroy, my God, his voice as Batman it gives me chills thinking about it. Because he's so good. He's so angry at points. He knows how to play this character with the right amount of intensity, just in his voice. And whenever I do think of Batman, whenever I do think of his voice, whenever I think of my definitive Batman, I'm going to say that's whenever Kevin Conroy voices him. There's not much more I can say about that. The guy is perfect. My number 1 all-time favorite Batman is probably obvious. It's Christian Bale. And that might piss some people off because I know a lot of people who hate Christian Bale as Batman. And look, okay, fine. I understand he's not for everyone. I understand even the Nolan movies aren't for everyone. And I get that some people don't like his Batman voice. But look, the voice doesn't bother me. I have nothing against the voice. In fact, I think it's cool how different he sounds compared to his Bruce Wayne. But I even like the way Christian Bale plays 3 different characters, essentially, in the Nolan trilogies. You have the sort of tortured and broken and lost Bruce Wayne. You have the playboy, billionaire character that he puts on and pretends to be in front of the public, which I love whenever Bale does that because he does that so convincingly and perfectly. But when he's Batman, he's so intense, he's so angry. Some people obviously have spoofed to no end, and they've made fun of a lot of Bale's Batman scenes. But I always love watching, like in Batman Begins, when he's interrogating Flask, and he has him hanging upside down in the rain, and he's like, swear to me! I mean, come on. How do you not love angry Batman? or in The Dark Knight, his interrogation scene with the Joker. It does not get any better than that. So guys, that's my list of my worst and best Batmen. Let me know in the comments below, what are some of your favorite Batmans or worst Batmans? Let me know if you agree with my list. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Later!